See once again, here the molar mass of cane sugar. Molar mass of cane sugar is equal to 342 gram per mole, and molality, then the molality will be equal to 5 multiplied by 1000 by 342 into 100. Now if you solve this, you will get some 5000 divided by 34200. This 0 and this 0 will cancel out. Then 50 by 342, if you do this, 50 divided by 342, you will get 0.146. This will be your molality of the solution. So now the change in the boiling point, change in the freezing point you have to determine here. That what will be the freezing point? If 5% solution by cane sugar in water has a freezing point of 271, then what will be the freezing point of 5% glucose in water if the freezing point of your water is 273.15 Kelvin? So let's see. Therefore, the change in the freezing point for sugar solution. Now change in the freezing point for the sugar solution is equal to 273.15 minus 271 Kelvin. This is the change in the freezing point, because पहले तो कितना था 271, then later it became 273.15 Kelvin. So if it is 273.15 Kelvin, then that will be the difference will be 2.15 Kelvin. Then now you have to we have to calculate the value of Kf here. So now Kf is equal to delta Tf is equal to Kf into m. Delta Tf is equal to Kf into m. Now from here we have to calculate the value of Kf, the freezing point constant. So now delta Tf we got 2.15 equal to Kf, this is unknown to us, into the molality we have got 0.146. Now if we are going to determine the value of Kf, then Kf will be equal to 2.15 by 0.146. Now this is equal to 2150 by 146. Now if you are solving this one, then 2150 by 0.146, 2150 divided by 146, that one you will get 14.72. You will get 14.72. Now here you got the value of Kf as 14.72. Now from the first given data, you have calculated the value of Kf. Now you have to calculate for the second data whatever it is given. So now let's come to glucose solution. Till now we were for cane sugar. Now we will be doing the same thing for glucose solution. Let us do it. Keep in mind that the value of Kf we got as 14.72. We have got it as 14.72. Now we are coming to glucose solution. So now the molar mass of glucose. Now molar mass of glucose, this is equal to 180. The formula for glucose is C6H12O6. If you calculate it, you will get 180. Then similarly, you calculate the molality here. The molality of glucose. So molality of glucose, that will be also using the similar formula. It is a 5% glucose in water. So it means that 5 by 180 into 1000 divided by, again multiplied by 100. Here again the molality, this 0 and this 0 will cancel out. This 0 and this 0 will cancel out. This is equal to 5 upon 18. So 5 upon 18, this will be 18 to the 36. 18 to the 36. 18 7 times. 18. Some 18 8 are. So this will be equal to 0.278. So here the molar mass of glucose, because it is 180, so we have used the value of 180 in the denominator. Now delta Tf is equal to Kf into m. Now here the value of delta TF that is unknown to you. You don't know the change in the freezing point. So here the Kf value you got it from the earlier solution, that is your Kf value was 14.72 into the value of molality you got 0.278. Now if you solve this, you will get 14.72 multiplied by 0.278, you will get 4.09. This is your 4.09 degrees. This is your change in the freezing point. So freezing point of the glucose solution, therefore the freezing point of the glucose solution, freezing point of glucose solution, freezing point of the glucose solution, this will be equal to, this is your pure water's one, pure water will be higher, so this is your pure water freezing point minus what is the change in the freezing point, that is your 4.09. Now when you subtract this two, you will get your final answer, which will be in Kelvin. That will be your answer here. So this final subtraction you do it by yourself and you can write it. Once again I am repeating here, from the first data which is given, we have to calculate the value of Kf, and then using the second data, we have to calculate that what will be the freezing point of pure water if what will be the freezing point of 5% glucose in water if the freezing point of pure water is 273.15 Kelvin, and this is how it is solved here. Now let's see the next question. Here it is given, calculate the depression of freezing point of water when you have 10 gram of CH3 CH2 CHCl COOH added to 250 gram of water, given that the value of Kf, means the freezing point constant, it is given to you as 1.86 Kelvin kg per mole. This is given to you. Now we are to solve this one. Then first of all, if we are calculating the depression in freezing point, we know that delta TF, this is equal to Kf multiplied by the molality. It means that for this 10 gram of this compound, we have to calculate the molality, and then we can calculate the depression in the freezing point by multiplying the given value of Kf into the molality. So it means that here whatever the main thing that we are to do is the calculation of your molality. So for calculating the molality, we have to calculate the molar mass of this compound. We have to calculate the molar mass of this compound. So let us calculate it. Molar mass of this given compound. Suppose I am naming it as A. Molar mass of A. Let's write. For carbon it will be 12 plus 3 hydrogens plus again 12 plus 2 plus again 12 plus 1 plus 35.5 plus again 12 plus 2 oxygens are there, so it will be 32, and plus 1 hydrogen, so it will be 1. Now if we add all this, let's see how much we get. 12 plus 3 15, 12 plus 2 14, 12 plus 1 13, then 32 plus 1 33, and 35.5 plus 12 will be 47.5. Then again add 15 plus 13 will be 28, 28 plus 14 is 42, then 42 plus 33, 3 plus 2 5, 4 plus 3 7, and then 47.5 will be 0.5, 10 plus 5 is 12, 2, 1 in hand, and this will be 122. So here the molar mass of your given compound is 122.5. This is your molar mass. So now number of moles which is present in 10 gram we are to calculate. मतलब अगर इसका molecular weight is 122.5 gram per mole, means if you are taking 122.5, then it becomes 1 mole. Then what will be the molarity, means how many moles are present in 10 gram, that we have to calculate. So moles we calculate as given weight by the molecular weight, that is 122.5. So here if you are calculating the molarity of this one, means number of moles present in 10 by 122.5, then you will get 10 divided by 122.5, you will get 0.0816. This is your number of moles. So this many number of moles are present in 10 gram of the substance. So now therefore the molality of the solution. So therefore the molality. Now the molality of the solution. Molality of the solution will be number of moles. So this is your number of moles. Number of moles of the substance divided by the given weight of water and multiplied by 1000, because it should be dissolved in 1000 gram of water. So now if you are solving this one, you will get this 0 and this 0 will cancel out, then 25 4 times 100, and if you are multiplying this, 4 6 are 24, 2 9 4 1 4 plus 2 6, 4 x are 32, 1 2 3 4. This will be here. It means that the molality of the solution is 0.3264 molar. The symbol of molality is small letter m. Now you got the molality and you have to calculate the depression in the freezing point. So depression in the freezing point, we know that delta T of F is equal to K of F multiplied by your molality. Now the value of Kf, this is given to you in the question. This is 1.86 multiplied by this molality is there. Now molality 0.3264, and you multiply it, you will get your depression in the freezing point. You will get the value in terms of Kelvin. Here the unit will be Kelvin. The depression in the freezing point, you can get it from here. Once again, your duty is this one. You need to multiply this and you need to find the final answer of this one. Let's see another one. Now here one more question. It is here.
Yeah. You the previous that one.
This one.
Page.
Yeah.
For yes, for just like 5 or 6 things.
Okay. Here the main thing is that first of all, from the given information you have to calculate the molality, and that molality you have to multiply with this value, because delta TF means the depression in the freezing point is equal to the freezing point constant multiplied by the molality. So just you need to calculate the molality here. So the molality we got it as 0.3264, and these two when you are multiplying, you will get your depression in the freezing point. Now let's see the next question. Now here it is said that benzene and toluene, they form ideal solution. Now what was ideal solution? If you remember, ideal solutions are those solutions which obey Raoult's law at any temperature and concentration, and they form nearly ideal solution. If you remember the explanation, I said that there is no perfect ideal solution, it's just a theoretical concept. So these two, they form nearly ideal solution over the entire range of composition. The vapor pressure of pure benzene and toluene at 300 Kelvin are 50.711 and 32 mercury respectively. Now we have to calculate the mole fraction of benzene in the vapor phase if 80 gram of benzene is mixed with 100 gram of toluene. Now if you remember, for calculating the mole fraction, there is no relation with the vapor pressure. It means that the above information, all of this, they are just given for confusion. This part from here up to here, this is not required in this question at all. They are just given for a confusion. The main part of the question is from here. Calculate the mole fraction of benzene which is present in vapor phase if 80 gram of benzene is mixed with 100 gram of toluene. So if the mole fraction we are to calculate, then first of all we have to determine that in 80 gram of benzene, how many moles of benzene are present. So for that we have to calculate the molar mass of benzene. So molar mass of benzene. Molar mass of benzene. The formula of benzene is C6H6. So the molar mass of benzene will be, the carbon is 12. So 12 6 are 72 plus 6, that will be equal to 78. It means that if we are taking 78 gram of benzene, it becomes 1 mole. So now if we are taking 80 grams of benzene, then it will become how many moles? So once again the same formula for calculating the mole. How to calculate? So we are to calculate by given weight by the molecular weight. So here number of moles which is present in 80. So number of moles present in 80 gram will be equal to given weight by the molecular weight. This is your moles of benzene. Now similarly you have to calculate it for toluene. Now I will be telling you what is toluene. Toluene we have learnt in class 11. This is this compound. When a benzene ring is bonded to CH3, this is known as your toluene. Also this one we have studied in this that chapter where haloarenes we have studied. This is your toluene. Now we have to calculate the molecular weight of toluene. So molecular weight of toluene will be C6H5, and apart from that you have a CH3. It means that from here one carbon is less, one hydrogen is less. It means this will be 77 plus, this is 12 plus 3, carbon is 12 plus 3, you will have 15. So this one you will get 10 plus 5 12, this one you will get 92. It means that the molecular mass of toluene is 92. It means that the moles of toluene present will be equal to given mass, that is 100, by the molecular mass, that is your 90. So now you are to calculate the mole fraction of benzene. So therefore mole fraction is denoted by the symbol X of benzene is equal to the number of moles of benzene. Number of moles of benzene was 80 upon 78 by the total number of moles of the component which is present in the solution, that is 80 by 78 plus 100 by 92. And now once again this is your duty. You have to solve this and you have to find the value that what will be the mole fraction of benzene. You are not asked to find the mole fraction of toluene, but yet also if you want to find the mole fraction of toluene, whatever the mole fraction of benzene you will get, suppose you are getting some Y value, then you subtract that Y from 1, you will get your mole fraction of toluene in this case also. So this was the question. These were the three problems that were important from the chapter. And now we are moving to the last topic of this chapter, which is your solubility of a solid in a liquid, which is very common for everyone. That is solubility of a solid in a liquid, which we do every day in our day-to-day life, where we are solving sugar in water every day, where we are dissolving salt in water every day. तो अलग अलग चीज़ों का सॉलिड को हम लिक्विड में हर रोज घरों में रोज ही मिलाते हैं. So this is very common to us. Now we are going to study about the properties of this solubility. What are these properties? Let's see. First property is that every solid does not dissolve in a given liquid. This is the very first property here. अब जैसे अगर मान लो मैं बोलूं कि if you have to dissolve naphthalene in water, this one you can never dissolve. Naphthalene will never dissolve in water, but you can dissolve salt in water. Then what are the factors which differs in this one? Why naphthalene is not soluble in water and why is salt soluble in water? It was explained by a solute dissolved in a solvent if the intermolecular interactions are similar in the two, or we may say like dissolves like. Now this is a very important one, like dissolves like. It means that if you have, suppose NaCl at your home, NaCl, if you dissociate it, you will get Na positive and Cl negative. This is your compound, means NaCl. Similarly, for water, we know that this is amphoteric in nature and that has also a charge separation which is H positive and OH negative. It means that if I am adding salt in water, in both the components, I have charged particles. Means here also one positive charge particle is there, here also one positive charge particle is there. यहाँ भी एक negative है, यहाँ भी एक negative है. So if we compare these two are like, and that is the reason why they dissolve in one another. But when you are coming to naphthalene, तो naphthalene जो है वो एक hydrocarbon है. It is a hydrocarbon. Means here the structure of naphthalene is this one. This is your naphthalene, where two benzene rings are fused together. They have only carbon and hydrogen here, only carbon and hydrogen and nothing except that. तो केवल carbon और hydrogen में तो charge separation possible है ही नहीं, because that bond is purely covalent. The bond is purely covalent. There is no such charge separation, and this is why naphthalene is unlike with water, and they are not soluble in water. So here the conclusion comes that a solute will only dissolve in a given solvent if the intermolecular interaction मतलब उनके बीच के जो molecules हैं उनका interaction they are similar. जैसे this positive will have a same interaction with the negative, similarly this positive have a same interaction with this negative. So if they are similar, then only a solute will dissolve in a given solvent. But if this interaction is different, they will not dissolve in any of the types. So salt is soluble in water, whereas naphthalene is insoluble in water. Now, what is a saturated solution? A solution in which no more solute can be dissolved at the same temperature and pressure is called a saturated solution. जैसे suppose if you have one glass of water, and this one glass of water is suppose say 20 ml, some 20 ml. Now this 20 ml of water, it has a capacity that it can dissolve only a particular amount of solvent in it, solute in it. जैसे 20 ml अगर पानी है तो इसके पास एक प्रॉपर्टी है that it can only dissolve, suppose say कोई 10 gram, suppose 10 gram of salt it can dissolve in it. Now what will happen if you are trying to dissolve 20 gram of salt in this water? What will happen? You will come to know about this in the lab when we will be doing the practical, that what is a saturated solution. तो देखो, and तब वो जो solution बनेगा, that will be a saturated solution where no more solute can be dissolved in that one. Now a solvent which can dissolve more type, जैसे I said that there it has a property of dissolving, it has a capability to dissolve 10 gram here. Now if you are adding 5 gram of solute to this 20 ml, उसके पास अभी और 5 gram लेने का capacity है. So when you have added 5 gram of solute to a solvent, then and if has more tendency to accept more solute, then that solution is known as an unsaturated solution. An unsaturated solution is one in which more solute can be dissolved at the same temperature, and a saturated solution is one in which no more solute can be dissolved at the same temperature. But if you are increasing the temperature, then more solute can be added to it. But at the same temperature, if no more solute can be added to a given solvent, then that solution is known as your saturated solution. In case of unsaturated solution, more solute can be added at the same temperature. Just as in this GIF, if it is visible to you, you can see it here, that here see the salt solution was kept here, to which more salt is being added here. Now when the capacity is not have, it means when the capacity reaches the maximum, means it cannot dissolve, then what will happen? The salt particle will just settle down at the bottom of the flask in this way. So this is known as your saturated solution, and when it can dissolve more type of solution, then that is known as your more type of solute, then that is known as your unsaturated solution. Now what are the different effects which affect the solubility? The first one is the effect of temperature. We all know this, that the solubility of a solid in a liquid is significantly affected by temperature change. Now how it affects? See it here. See, at a normal temperature, which sugar was not soluble in water, if you are heating it, what happens? That the solubility increases here. वो soluble हो गया. It means that the solubility of a solid in liquid is highly affected by temperature. But if you remember, the solubility of gas in liquid, gas in liquid that was affected by pressure. So now try to draw an analogy in between these two, that as the temperature will increase, the solubility of gas in liquid will decrease. मतलब जैसे जैसे temperature बढ़ेगा, the solubility of gas in liquid ये कम होगा. But as the temperature will increase, the solubility of solid in liquid that will increase. The solubility of solid in liquid will increase, but if the temperature increases, the solubility of gas in liquid will decrease. And here, in case of your solid substances, the pressure does not affect anything here. Means pressure चाहे तुम जितना भी लगा लो, it does not have any effect on the solubility of solids in liquid. It is because solids and liquids they are इनकॉम्प्रेसिबल. मतलब सॉलिड्स में क्या होता है, पार्टिकल्स जो हैं वो एकदम क्लोज हैं, तो आप चाहे जितना भी प्रेशर दे दो ये उतने के उतने ही पास रहेंगे. बट इन केस ऑफ गैसेस व्हाट हैपेंस, दे आर फार अपार्ट. तो जब आप उन पे प्रेशर लगाते हो, दे टेंड टू कम क्लोजर. देन व्हेन दे टेंड टू कम क्लोजर, द solubility increases here. So here, if in case of solid, your pressure will not affect anything. In case of your solid, the pressure does not affect much on solubility, or the solubility of solid in liquid is independent of pressure. It does not depend on pressure, but it is highly dependent on temperature. But in case of gaseous, it is totally opposite. So with this, we conclude this chapter, and now your duty is to solve the remaining question. If you want, if you have any more problem, you can ask me. Thank you for watching the video up to here. Have a good day.